Hello, YouTube-a-dee-doo. I have a spectacular update for you guys today. And do you guys know where I get Tubity-Doo from? It's from Timothy Delaghetto. There was this guy named Timothy Delaghetto who I loved in 8th grade who literally was one of my main inspirations. I'm going to create two literally videos and they're both going to be titled My Main Inspirations. And one is going to be Timothy Delaghetto. So Timothy Delaghetto is someone who I heavily look up to. He is really a bad guy. He really comes with his business. He was very serious about his craft, and that's why I love Traffic, Timothy Delaghetto. I loved him because how much work he put in. He never stopped. And Lily, that's why Lily, he inspired me to be on TV. Now, this has nothing to do with fucking Nonz, but this is my channel debate in general. But the reason why I had to state that is because that's why I always introduce, sometimes in my profile videos, YouTube-a-dee-doo. That's a song by Traffic. It was imitating the good old days with YouTube where you can customize your background. It's like, if you got a lot of time you spend online, that's Tubity-Doo. Now, that was actually really crazy because now, you know, Nonz is really good. I'm able to do a whole lot now more than I was back in the day. You see, I made Nonz back literally when I was so in my own little world. And, you know, I was trying so hard to socialize. But then I learned how to really be social, and I started incorporating so much of my real life into the new updated Nonz material. So it's a little bit of the mixture of like the me back when I was in 7th grade, where I had all the motivation, fused with the current me now that's literally getting all the girls. And sometimes I put my girls in my manga, and it makes my manga even better, and it doesn't sidetrack for the fact that it's an anime. You get what I'm saying? So the reason why I love, you know, this idea that I've been saving for so long, I have to tell you the layout of the Big Owl arc. So this isn't spoiling the fights of the Big Owl arc or the events happening prior. This is the type of arc the Big Owl arc is. There's a new character who I haven't introduced even in the manga yet that I technically ain't spoiling this video. The way I'm going to deliver it is going to be so different to what you see here. It's so crazy. So there's going to be a main character that I haven't even introduced in any of the material I've shown you, as far as like even the manga movie that I made, the Valentine's Day special. This is a character that you do not know about because I made her back when I was in 7th grade. This is back when I was heavily into anime, where I was able to look up Naruto openings. It happened to be one African American girl. I don't know where she was from, but I could tell. I thought she was from Chicago, but literally, she literally sang the song Yura Yura by Hearts Grow. So I want you to understand that 7th grade was a very influential, you know, year for me. I was Mr. Pledger's favorite student, and literally, I was so infatuated with trying to, like, literally be just like Kishimoto, be just like, you know, Ichiro Oda. I was inspired by One Piece. So, like, 7th grade is when I figured out I could watch anime online. So right then and there is when I had the idea for Goodbye, because what I did was I checked One Piece in Japanese, and originally I only watched the 4Kids dub, but it was one of my favorite fights in One Piece. Luffy versus Arlong, their emotion, the story behind it with Nami. So basically we have a really big update from Nonz. I'm adding a shitload of more story into the Big Owl arc. The Big Owl arc was really back when Nonz was taijutsu based. Nonz used to be strictly taijutsu based, and you know why? It's because, you know, Beta and, you know, with his limited moveset with his board is what made Nonz so fun back in the day. So, literally, that was really crazy. So, what's going to happen is, I'm going to tell you this right now. There's going to be a Arlong play out. Just like the walk in Arlong Park, there's going to be literally a play out just like that in Nonz. So, if you want to know a little bit of an insider of why I love One Piece, Gabaya was originally based off Luffy. Gabaya was originally based off of Luffy's playfulness, his similarities to Goku. Gabaya was very Luffy based. He was so Luffy based that I felt the need to have him punch the ground and literally make a shockwave. And then he got lifted off the ground from the shockwave, and he went like this. So his body went like this. He's like, all the way into the ship. And it was crazy because I ripped off the One Piece opening. So So literally, so what I did was I took the Big Owl arc from the Arlong Park saga because I was infatuated. I kept on watching it over and over again. I watched it in Japanese, and then I watched it the 4Kids dub again on the computer. I was so infatuated with the Arlong Park saga. So this was really one of my greatest things. So Big Owl is an alligator. He's a chimera. and he is based off Arlong. So let me give you the rundown of what Big Al is. Okay, so Big Al is actually a goon. I've added more new elements to the Big Al arc, but not really. It's gonna be parts that are really, really, really gonna feel like, what? Why should I even watch the Big Al arc? Because it's gonna involve a character that I've been saying for so long. This isn't a guy character. This is a female character I created back in 8th grade. So this is Nonz, Yura. Her name is Yura, and she's inspired by the song Yura Yura from Hearts Grow. She is going to be the focal point of the Big Al arc. The Big Al arc went to Lily. Gabaya having to square up with a boss villain in order to earn a tournament. So let me tell you like this. So yeah, this is going to be a very, very hype Nonz video, because the whole reason why Gabaya wants to fight Big Al is to prove himself, because you have to get a certain amount of tokens. It's either you beat like 2 villains or a villain that's level 1, but you have to achieve 5 tokens in Lily. Big Al is like a level 5 villain, so Gabaya's just literally coming at him first thing so he can have the chance to enter Nonz into the tournament. So that is how we get the setup for the tournament arc. So it goes Big Al, and then there's gonna be a tournament arc. Okay, so yeah, so there's a lot of things that I have to reveal on YouTube before, I, really, really get in depth. So I want you to understand that Yura is a very inspired character from back when I was heavy on taijutsu. So Gabaya wasn't only just based off Luffy. Gabaya was also based off the Believe It attitude of Naruto. So like literally, he may have literally like, he may seem like a really, really, really similar to Luffy, but think about it like this. If there wasn't for Naruto, I wouldn't have thought of the name of Gabaya. So it's really, 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 really hyped. This is my writing process back when I was in 7th grade, so this is a juicy video. So what I'm doing is I'm adding Yura, and it's becoming a rescue arc instead of all the way to the, all our Park Saga. I'm adding multiple elements from different animes now that I'm older, now that I'm thinking, everything straight. So what is Yura? Yura is literally, she's an organic girl that was thought to be, from another world. So this is other world in Nonz that literally that I can't go into because, that world is very sacred, but it has something to do with the prologue. I'm not spoiling anything, but it has something to do with the prologue. I've stated this in another video. If you go watch the Delulu video, I haven't stated this completely, but I still stated some of this. So, this was crazy as F. I'm trying to let you know. So basically, so here's how it's gonna go down. So Gabaya meets his girl Yura on the train. So Yura is based off Yura from Hearts Grow, and her power is to control pigtails. Her pigtails expand and they act like Luffy's arms. So she has Gun Gatling pigtails. So what she does is she uses her pigtails as arms. And so it's really, really crazy. She's a very, very good taijutsu user. So Lily, she has a nice rack, and so her character design is a blonde girl with long pigtails, and she has a chest, and there's a heart on her outfit. Very short sleeves, Lily wearing shorts, but very, very good at taijutsu, and she talks smack. Jumei is nothing. Jumei from the Valentine's Day special? She was there when I didn't want to write it. I didn't want to go too much. I love Lily, how it turned out, but it was stressful writing for Jumei because I had to put a lot into a character. So Lily, it was crazy. But Yura is someone I actually had fun writing, so she's gonna be 10 times harder, 10 times funnier, and 10 times more badass. Jumei will never amount to Yura. So yeah, so Yura is a part of the Big Al arc. So it goes like this. So Yura is miscellaneous. In the original storyline in Nonz, she was actually imaginary, because literally she came from another world, but like in the new continuity of Nonz, we thought she was imaginary, but she actually turned out to be human. So here is the crazy thing about Yura. So Yura's power to control pigtails is really, really, really fire. She can stand on them, and she also does taijutsu with her feet. It's really, 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 really dope. Yes, this is my 7th grade process. It's really, 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 really fire. So like Yura gets stalked by Gabaya on the train. So literally, so Gabaya's all like, "Hey, little mama, what's going on with you?" So like, it's crazy. So he's like, "Back off! I'm already running away from Big Al." I'm like, "Al who? Like, you don't know Big Al? One of the strongest villains?" And literally, so it's crazy because that's how he meets her. And I'm like, "Well, I don't know about Al, but you're looking pretty bad right now." So literally, so Gabaya is literally stalking fucking Yura, and she's like, "Beat off." I said no, and literally. And so, literally fucking Gabaya starts fighting Yura, and Yura pops out with her pigtails, and Yura starts squaring up with Gabaya. So translates to a long ass fight on the train where it becomes destructive, and you can see really what her pigtails can do. So it starts off with Gabaya takes Yura, as I stated in a previous video, because I add the 18 versus Vegeta aspect to this. So all of a sudden, Yura gets tired of fucking fighting Gabaya, and she's like, fuck it, I give. What the fuck is wrong with you? And she's already trapped in the alley, and then Big Al comes in the alley, and he murks Gabaya, and so he takes Yura, and literally, Gabaya is really injured, and he's like, how can I get literally defeated so easily? So Gabaya literally has to train over and over again in order to redeem himself for Big Al, and that's what the Big Al arc is. So there's another thing that I want to add in. There's a story of a guy that was an eagle. Like, it was a time where my brother and everybody was showing me different action figures. Where I was obsessed with action figures. I had a very unhealthy obsession with action figures. I used to make my own Korean dramas with action figures, I swear. Like, there would be a continuous storyline, and I literally cracked my action figures. I felt like... It was continuous. I swear, everything was... Okay, so anyway, before that happened, you know, there was a toy that was presented to me, and it was an eagle, but it was wearing an army outfit, and it had a green hat, literally a green army outfit. It was one of my favorite toys when I was younger. So literally, I thought about that. I'm like, if I could see this in the show, I would want this to be really badass, like Batman and Beyond. Like, it was an eagle, like a man eagle, like literally smoking a cigar. But it was a toy that I used to have. I used to love it. I'm like, dude, this is gonna be crazy. So Gerald Egerton is gonna be his name in Nonz. He's based on one of my favorite toys when I was younger. So basically, here's how this goes. So basically, he realizes that the Big Al crew is too strong, so he trains with Kazi Tachihiro in order to beat Big Al. And that is how the Big Al arc plays out. What happens is Yura also has the ability to fly because she can turn her pigtails into propellers like tails from Sonic the Hedgehog. And this is really insightful because he uses that to escape Big Al, and he joins Gabaya's crew. So it's not 5, but it's 6 members, but it's a gag. You get what I'm saying? So Yura tags along with Nonz for the entire Big Al arc, but she's not going to be there for the Frostbite filler, which I turn into canon. So the Frostbite, all that training is, all that's leading up to the big fight with Big Al. And so Frostbite was a filler character that I made before by making him canon, because I'm making him all the way. I'm going to give you a way that Big Al can beat him, because Frostbite is really powerful, but you're going to see really how strong Big Al is. You know, so really, that is the summary of the Big Al arc. I can't really, like, explain more. I can't spoil the fights, and I can't, you know, reveal too much information about the fights, because that is one of the main aspects. No, that's forbidden for YouTube until the manga of my drawing comes out. You have to understand that. You have to understand. Until I literally draw the fights for the Big Al arc, I am not, you know, saying anything. But until I draw what I want to see in the Big Al arc, you'll see. So basically, this is the summary of what the first arc of Nonz is going to be. And it's going to start off with a Yura Gabaya train, and then we're going to realize who Big Al truly is. And then on the way, little bits and figures. They're going to have little training sessions. Like, there's going to be a lot of training sessions in between the arc, which is really, but they're not going to be too much, you know. I wasn't planning on stretching it out, you know. The Big Al arc is going to be no longer like, maybe like 15, 20 chapters. If it was like, no, not 15, like probably 30 chapters at most. That's how I draw fast, but, you know, I'm not talking about like an actual, you know, but I'm talking about that shit is really crazy, because I've done that so many times. I wrote the Big Al arc twice, so I'm very specific on what I want to see in this shit, in case you're wondering. So basically, I am going to draw the Big Al arc myself before I get into any details of, well, you know, any, you know, of continuity or any stuff like that. So basically, this is New Tricks, and this is the summary for the Big Al arc. This is the new profile video for a character I introduced. I told you I wasn't spoiling anything, and this is Yura, who's based off Yura from Hearts Grow, the 9th opening of the original Naruto. This is New Tricks. I'm out.